Please welcome our host for tonight's speaker broadcast, Sean Fuller.
Hello, National Society of Leadership and Success members. My name is Sean Fuller, and I am happy to be with you for the second broadcast of the spring semester, live from I Play America in Freehold, New Jersey. Once again, we want to thank our friends at IKEA for providing us with the incredible furniture and accessories you see on stage here tonight and throughout the entire spring broadcast season. Remember, please visit IKEA-USA.com for everything you need for your dorm, home, or apartment at an affordable price. NSLS members, I want to remind you that the Spring Scholarship and Awards window is now open. So please visit nsls.org and apply for the over $250,000 in awards available to you. Remember, you can't win if you don't apply, so do so today. Now, I want to ask that you pull out your cell phones because there are 4 ways to participate in tonight's broadcast. The first way you can participate is by answering our trivia question. Tweet the correct answer using the hashtag #TheNSLS within the next 5 minutes for your chance to win a $250 American Express gift card. One student will be selected at random, and please include your full name and school in your tweet. Here's the question. Born and raised in India, Dr. Shefali continued her studies in the United States, eventually earning her PhD from this Ivy League university. What's the name of this university? The second way to participate is through our live texting poll. Here's the question. In your opinion, what holds people back from following their passions? Is it fear, pressure from their family or friends, laziness, or other responsibilities? Text the word to 63566 in order to vote. Reply with one word only. If you believe it's fear, text the word fear. If you believe it's pressure from their friends or family, text the word pressure. If you believe it's laziness, text the word lazy. And if you believe it's other responsibilities, text the word other. Remember, reply with one word only, and we will share the voting results at the beginning of our Q&A. Now, the third way that you can participate, I want to remind all of the inducted members who are out there watching and working towards earning your advanced or executive leadership certifications about our special giveaway. We are giving away a free trip from our partners at True Nature, and if you win, you have your choice of going to either Costa Rica, Peru, Italy, or Greece. Remember, you're only eligible to win this prize if you are one of the many inducted members who have taken the next step in your leadership journey and working towards earning your advanced or executive leadership certifications. We will be picking one advanced or executive member at random, and we will announce the winner during the last broadcast of the spring semester on March 12th. Finally, for the live broadcast audience, please tweet your questions for Dr. Shefali with the hashtag #TheNSLS. We'll be selecting questions to ask on your behalf during tonight's Q&A, and if we use yours, you'll win a $75 Amex gift card. For those of you watching in rebroadcast, if you want to hear your questions answered during a live broadcast, you can email them prior to each broadcast at broadcast@nsls.org. Right now, I am pleased to introduce our guest for this evening, Dr. Shefali. Dr. Shefali is a world-renowned clinical psychologist and best-selling author. Oprah has endorsed her work as revolutionary and life-changing and said that in the 30 years she's been doing interviews, she's the best she's ever seen. Her groundbreaking approach to mindful living and parenting has taken her books to the top of the New York Times bestsellers list, including her first book in which the Dalai Lama himself wrote the preface. Her blend of clinical psychology and Eastern mindfulness sets her apart as the leader in the field of mindfulness psychology. She presents at conferences and workshops around the world, including Wisdom 2.0, TEDx, Kellogg Business School, the Dalai Lama Center for Peace and Education, and now for the National Society of Leadership and Success. Ladies and gentlemen, here at I Play America and those watching all across the country, please join me in welcoming our guest for the evening, Dr. Shefali.
Thank you so much. Thank you, thank you, thank you. So I couldn't be more excited to be here today because I remember when I was a young college student and how things went south quickly after. And as a clinical psychologist, when I sit with clients in my office and listen to life stories, inevitably they tell me about how they lost an essential piece of themselves in their early adulthood. This is where you are right now. It is such a pivotal time in development where you're in the nexus of childhood and adulthood. And it is here that you are on the precipice of enormous change. But if I knew then what I know now, I would do things differently. And this is why I'm so excited to speak with you, so I can perhaps challenge you to fly off this precipice that you are now on with a greater clarity of what this matrix you live in is all about. When I help clients, their recurring theme, their resounding, echoing plague is that they do not know who they authentically are. I teach conscious parenting because of all the unconscious parenting there is. And you know, as a kid, you know that many a time you've looked at your parent and wondered what planet they are on. And if you haven't, then you just have been suppressing the desire out of fear. My daughter is here today, and she's been looking at me with that look ever since she was yay-high. Because all of us were raised by a large degree of unconsciousness, and you were too. And this is hard to believe. This is part of the waking up process that I do in therapy, where the client before me has been thinking that all their problems are because of them. You know, they are lazy, they're unmotivated, they are procrastinators, they're not, challenging themselves enough. And when they begin to unravel their histories, it's not that they should now begin blaming their parents, but they begin realizing that those voices in their head that stops them aren't voices that are theirs. Just today I was talking to a client about her voice that kept telling her that she's not going to amount to anything, that she really is a fake and a farce, and that she really should just sit still and be quiet in a corner. She wanted to try things, but there was this echoing voice within her that kept telling her, shh. And she thought this voice was hers. She wore it like a second skin. She could not even understand when I suggested the probability that she had inherited this voice. And it was like a train coming in on a station on schedule every hour to berate her, to lambast her, to shame her, to make her this small. And when I began to propose that this voice was something she had ingested, inherited, absorbed, when she was very young, she began to shake with an epiphany, with an insight. She was like, yes, I remember when my father got so angry with me because I didn't spell the word correctly, and he put me in this corner. And then I remember when my mother yelled at me because I wouldn't sleep through the night, and she punished me. And client after client after client, I can even remember Justin, a young boy who came to me all tattooed and all looking all tough. But you know, inside, we are all just little children. And he would break down with me because he would talk to me about how his father would make him kneel down as a punishment if he didn't get an A grade. And then I have Steve, another boy, who tells me that he would almost rather his father not come and watch his basketball games because he would begin to quiver inside knowing that the father's love was pretty conditional. So this is how you and you and you and I was kind of raised on a high dose of conditionality. You know, if you are this, then I will beam with pride and post you, splash you across my Facebook. But if not, then I'll just kind of, with a stoop of my shoulder and a upturned, downward turn of my lips, show my disapproval, subtly, but quite palpably. And this is how we were raised. And when I show clients that that voice of inner shame is not really theirs, they don't need to own it. They don't need to continue to live out its legacy, that it belongs to parents who were raised by their unconscious parents, and that shame, that guilt, that unworthiness belongs somewhere else. It's not mine. Then they begin to wake up. So my mission is to help people wake up, to begin to understand how we have indoctrinated voices, not just from our very generously unconscious parents, who have only just controlled us to become images of their making, puppeteered us to just be little soldiers in their army, but also by a very insidious culture. I know you've seen the movie The Matrix. The Matrix is our reality. We live in this bubble that we call life, this culture, and we believe it all to be true. I believed it all to be true. In India, I was raised in India, there is a very strict way that women are taught how to be, even stricter than here. We are taught how to look, what the measurement should be, what the skin color should be, and how we should serve. We should live our lives in servitude. And men are given their own prescriptions. But this is not just in my country, which is so obviously flamboyantly traditional. This traditional prescription is given to you too. You have it in your back pocket. Look, it's right there. On this prescription is a list of things you've been told to do in order to gain approval, to be worthy, and to gain the ultimate love of your parents, of your family. On that prescription is the right school you need to go to, how you need to look, who you need to marry, how many cars need to be in your garage, and how successful you need to be, and how much money needs to be in your bank account. And your entire life, you just don't realize, has been to this ambition. Step by step, I work with parents. I see by day 2, that child doesn't have a chance to discover their own destiny, to forge their own path. Day 2, they are already being geared for an Ivy League education, for playing 6 instruments, and at least speaking 2 foreign languages before the age of 4, right? Today I was on a show on TV, and we were discussing the different kinds of insane parents that they are. So, you know, there's the helicopter parent, and then there's some elephant parent, the tiger mom. And then today they asked about the lawnmower parent. I won't even bore you with the details, just suffice it to say insanity. Insanity, because parents are on steroids. You feel it. You feel the anxiety around you, don't you? You feel it on your campus, because all of us were raised on this diet of stress and anxiety. We were all given this prescription, and we were told how to be. You were told how to be. While being told, please be happy. But you really didn't have a chance, because your happiness had to be on that prescription list. Because if you go to your parents and say, I'm so happy, I've discovered I'm transsexual, and I want to go live on the streets of Calcutta, feeding the homeless, living on alms, like the mendicants and the monks. And that will make me happy, Papa. Your father will look at you and go, that's not happiness. And you're like, no, really, that's what will make me happy. And they're going to disown you. Because happiness has to be on the list, you see. Happiness has to be there. And you know, happiness is just a euphemism for success. You know, I ask parents all the time, what do you want for your children? Oh, I want them to be happy. And then I say to them, you mean wealthy, right? Or thin, or pretty, something like that. So this is the unconsciousness that I see all around me, and it motivates me to burst the bubble, to break the matrix, to crumble it, to deconstruct. And this is what I want to offer you, because if I had been given the gift to break free, if I had been told, you know, everything you see around you is a lie, then I wouldn't have suffered the way I suffered. I wouldn't have been so afraid. I wouldn't have been so leery of finding my passion, of being liberated. My epiphany occurred when I was 21 years old. I was on a bus, and in front of me were 2 gay women. This was 1993. I know I'm dating myself. But they were in love, and they were sexual, and they were open. And I looked at them as if they were 2, you know, endangered species, because I had just come from India, and such a thing was unheard of in public. But what I saw were two people in love. And this is what happened to me. I then said to myself, but I've been told that this is a lie. I've been told that this is wrong. I've been told that this is a sin. So if this is so beautiful, then everything I was told about this is a lie. And then the entire ball of wool began to be undone in front of my eyes. I saw my entire life of lies crumble like a domino. So then I realized at the age of 21, exactly the age many of you are at, that if this is a lie, then everything else I was told perhaps is a lie. And then began this intense period of death within me. The death of the past, of who I was told I was supposed to be. So when you die onto your past, it's a scary process. That's why no one likes to die onto their past. Because then you are faced with the question, now what? Now who will I be? But it is only when I let go the false lies I was told by my family that, you know what? You won't make it in America. You know what? Come back. You need to be married. All good girls should be married. And you should have 3 children and grow fat here in this zip code and look like this. You don't need to study so much. Why are you studying so much? You're going to get a headache. Don't. Girls should just be pretty and beautiful and just sit here. And if I had listened and not dared to find who it is I am, and if I had not listened even more to the prescriptions that wealth is a necessary ingredient, that success looks a particular way, that as a woman I need to speak in these tones, if I had followed those prescriptions, I wouldn't be here today. So dying onto all the lies that I was told, and then teaching my daughter and teaching other parents that the legacy of shame you live under, what culture tells you how you should be, who you should be, where you should go, what you should aspire to, may not be the truth for you. That's the awakening that I encourage in all around me, because it happened in me. But to awaken to a new self, you have to die onto your old self. To die onto your old self means you have to look in the mirror. You have to see reality as it is. So those voices in your head right now that you are being plagued by, that you're not good enough, or that you need to be better, or you need to be prettier, you need to begin to examine and ask, where are these voices coming from? Who did I inherit them from? Where am I absorbing them from? Is this truly me? Because who you truly are, you see, and what I teach people, who you truly, truly, truly are, is something that lies deep within you, an essence, an energy that is part of this grand universe. It is not prescribed into a role as a CEO, driving a Bentley, or having 3 children, and wearing fancy shoes. It is limitless. It is beyond this form. And you see what culture has done, because society is ruled by fear. Every parent is ruled by fear. Every kid is being raised by fear. What culture and society and parents and this whole complex we call the world has done to us is that it's limited us into how we look, how much money we make, and who we know. But you are way beyond that. And until you touch that essence that's within you, you are an energetic being. You are not your name, you're not your religion, you're not your color. You're something vastly beyond that. And until you touch upon that you are the same energy that governs this cosmos, limitless yet a speck, extraordinary while quite typical, until you understand the juxtaposition of who you are here, you will keep living according to prescription. Sheep to the slaughterhouse. Everything you've been taught, you now need to examine if you wish to awaken. Those who awaken go through this shocking paralysis at first, because you literally get dumbfounded that, what? Is everything I've been told a lie? Who to believe? How to believe? How to be religious? How to be spiritual? How to be good? How to be kind? How to be bold? Everything has been prescribed to you until you understand it's man-made, and therefore subject to great unconsciousness. You will not dare to live who it is you're meant to. All of it possibly is a lie. But when you awaken, and those who awaken first go through this paralysis, as I say, because you're dumbfounded that, when I realized that everything was just selling Kool-Aid, was just like, and I'm drinking it, and I'm just thinking that my essence depends on the money or the look or the extra pounds on my scale, and I was tottering on edge with anxiety because I got a C grade versus an A grade, or my teacher didn't like me, and everything was externally driven. When I realized that, First is a shock and the death, and then the rebirth. Then we begin to ask, now what? Now who? And then we rise again. And that process involves a deep attunement to who you are. Who you are is not who she is, not who they are. It's somebody who is unique and indescribably you. But the permission, the liberation to be you can only be given to you. Your journey in this life has been presumed to be one that is linear. You've been told it's linear. Till now, you've been just living. You've been chugging along, being a good kid, checking off. I'll do this, I'll do this, I'll do this, because your parents told you at the end of that rainbow is happiness. And you believe them, and they look really happy, don't they? So here you are chugging really good, and you don't realize that you're following this very narrow path. A true adventurer, a truly authentic being, a truly awakened soul is one who understands that life is no longer linear. Life is no longer about the external. It's not about what he thinks, she thinks, your grade. It's mainly about a relationship with yourself. Now listen, I work with 50 to 75-year-olds. All of them have the same issue, as I said. They don't know who they authentically are. My greatest hearkening to you, my clamoring call to you is do not become one of them. Wasting your life, seeking, craving something on the outside to fill you on the inside. Because what you will find is that nothing will replace your connection with you. Nothing. You've been lied to. They've told you that this will give you happiness and that will give you joy. Don't believe it anymore. The only thing that will give you happiness and joy, the only thing, is your connection to you. You are here to manifest you. And that looks like nothing else you've seen. So you cannot fashion it according to something in a magazine or according to how I look or something somebody tells you. It's to be found within. At the age of 21, when I came to America, and my entire world ruptured on that bus in San Francisco with those two gay women. They have no idea the impact they've had on me. But they unspooled my entire life. They unfolded me to a whole new reality. I then went, at the age of 21, for my first 10-day silent Vipassana retreat. Vipassana is a form of meditation where you meditate and then you meditate, then you meditate, then you meditate for 14 hours. I was dying. I died, right? It's, you know how, you know in some of your classes where you look at the clock and it's 10:01 and then you're like, I'm certain half an hour has passed. And then you look and it's 10:03. I did that for the entire 10 days. I didn't know how to drive. If I did, I would have stolen someone's car. It was the most uncomfortable thing I have ever done in my life. And I'm not recommending you at 21 go do it, but go do it, try it. But I can tell you, that is when everything changed for me. It was a game changer. Because for the first time, I sat with myself. For the first time, I didn't have voices around me telling me who I should be. For the first time, I discovered that I don't have to be a puppet. And I began to cut the cords to my parents. I cut with love, with release, with compassion. But I decided then that now the voice I need to hear and cultivate and foster is my own. And believe you me, I had no idea what that was. So infiltrated by culture, by media, by publicity, by images, by society's ways, by my parents' voice, I had no idea. It took me the entire 10 days to realize I had no idea who I was. So you here now, and all of you here, think, I know who I am. What is she talking about? No, you don't. Because who you are right now is manufactured. It's constructed, it's borrowed, it's inherited. I'm sorry to say. It is only when you embark on a journey of self-discovery that you will find who it is you are. Now, if you don't, not to worry. Life is so beautiful that it'll knock you down that one day you'll be like, okay, I can't keep living according to the people on the outside. I can't keep being a slave to what somebody else says. I can't keep waiting for someone else to tell me I'm worthy. One day, you will get up from the gutter and say, it's time for me to find me. But here I am telling you, don't wait till you're 50 to discover who it is you are, making many wrong turns. All of us here above 40 look back and go, if I knew then what I know now. And the main thing that they didn't know then is that they needed to be true to themselves. All of us lied. We went right when we knew we should go left. We knew that we needed to discover our purpose, our passion, our authentic voice, but we lied to that voice and said, no, not now. Let me be richer. Let me be more famous. Let me achieve more. Let me make my parents happy. Let me make someone happy. So we denied our truth. Do not do that. Do not waste your life, because then eventually you'll remember this and go, you know what? Why was I afraid to be me? And you're afraid to be you the same reason I was afraid to be me, because we were indoctrinated, we were injected with the medication to forget who it is we truly are. All of us are living asleep. We're zombies, really, sorry, unawakened. And when we wake up, the liberation is boundless, the sky is limitless, and your essence is unforgivably self-loving. So this is what I wish for you, that you go on this life forward now, not as a journey for more A's, not to be the best banker or lawyer, not to overcompete over your partner, not to look better in the party, not to lose a few more pounds. Please, we all did that. All of us in our 40s did that. It didn't get us anywhere. Give it up. Find who it is you are. Look at your life as a journey to awaken to your purpose. Your only purpose in being here is to discover you. And all of us knew who it is we were as children. We came with a spark of divinity, of knowing. But our parents looked at us with their unconsciousness, with their pain, with their expectations, and they abducted us of our spirit. I see it in family after family. I abducted my own daughter. I saw my own abduction. I couldn't help it. The unconsciousness was so great, and the seduction was so alluring. I was like, let me rob a little bit of you for me, please. Please give me some of you. And I took her light for me because I was thirsty. This happens to every child. We come knowing we're abducted, spend 40, 50 years till we have children. We ruin their lives. They become teenagers. Then they protest, rebel, and tell us we're the worst parents. And we're like, what? What are you saying? And then we remember how we felt when we were kids. And maybe then, we take ourselves to a therapist and begin this whole process again. So you at 21 are still young, and in your 20s, still so young. And the abduction, although has already occurred, you can still recover far quicker. So this is my offering to you, to understand that your purpose isn't anything that you've been told. All of that is a lie. Your purpose is to be you, to discover who you authentically are, and to dare to manifest your essential self. Thank you.